Hello, everybody, and welcome to installment 2 of Let's Go for a Walk. Today, I am on another off-lead walk with my dogs, as you guys can see. And we are going to be discussing the enrichment benefits of going on walks. So, walks are one of the most underappreciated and underutilized forms of enrichment, in my opinion. Now, a lot of people take their dogs on walks, right? Many people take their dogs on a walk every day. But the difference is that many times when people go on these walks, they're working on their obedience, right? The dog's expected to walk in a heel, sniffing is discouraged. The dog is not really able to engage in species-appropriate behaviors. And so basically what can happen is the dog does receive some level of cognitive enrichment because you guys are working on training, but they are not actually having their needs fulfilled during those sessions. And honestly, if you're walking, same path over and over on a lead, always working on obedience, it gets old for the dogs too, and you really are not going to see the benefits that you would get if you were making perhaps some changes to your walking routine. So, the first thing that I want to talk about is the benefits of off-lead walks. Now, obviously, not everybody has access to this kind of environment where, this kind of environment where the dogs can just run freely. And also not everybody's dogs has a good recall. Okay, you guys can go. And realistically, if you are going to be taking your dog on an off-lead walk, it is really imperative that they have a good off-lead recall. That is the first thing. Now, if your dog does not necessarily have a good off-lead recall, or if you just don't have access to this kind of space, you've got options. You can rent a sniff spot. If you have friends or relatives that maybe have land, you can ask to bring your dog and use it once in a while. You can even ask around on local Facebook groups and say, I've got a dog, I just am looking for some new places to maybe walk them around. Would it be okay? Does anybody have some land maybe that I could schedule to use for 30 minutes once in a while? It is so beneficial for the dog, and it is available, especially in the United States where there's tons of open space. So the actual benefits of walking your dogs for enrichment. Now, basically, enrichment is going to be activities that are naturally fulfilling for a dog or any species, really, that they are fulfilling because they're species appropriate, right? They're things that the animal needs to do to feel fulfilled. It's things that if the dog was able to have complete agency of its life, it would be doing naturally. So these are things like, hunting, foraging, sniffing, maybe even digging and shredding. All these things that we really discourage because they are not usually compatible with human society. But the problem is if dogs are not able to partake in these activities, you can tend to see a lot of behavioral malfunction because it's just like with humans, right? We're social. If we are completely socially deprived, right, or not able to engage in species-appropriate behaviors, you'll start to see behavioral decline. And it's the same with these guys. So basically, in the natural world, this is the one place that your dogs can go out and just do what they want to do, what they need to do. They have complete agency over their actions. And that not only wears them out, but it's really good for their body and it's really good for their brain. You are never, ever, ever going to have the same benefits with doing obedience on walks. It is just a completely different ballgame. And honestly, your dog, if I was constantly calling these guys back into a heel, the emotions, that they're experiencing on the walk would be completely different. all the hormones and the neurotransmitters being released because they're doing this really engaging activity that's just so innately rewarding. You're missing out on all of those. Even sniffing. Sniffing uses so much of a dog's brain because the dog's brain is literally created for olfaction, right? I mean, obviously it's created for a lot of other things, but they've got a huge olfactory bulb, right? A really complex olfactory system, and it's so heavily intertwined with their brain structure. So just the sniffing, I mean, is so enriching for dogs. Now, if you are taking your dog out on a leash for walks, and you have to do that, which most people usually do, all you have to do is to get the enrichment benefits is, if you've got a 4-foot leash, maybe upgrade to a 6, maybe a 10-foot leash. And then, just checking to see what they're doing. Upgrade your leash size so it's a little bit longer, and just let them lead the walk. If they want to stop and sniff stuff, it is okay, right? Now, if they start trying to eat something, maybe you want to intervene then, depending on what it is. But the sniffing is really good. Letting them watch things that are in their environment, letting them forage in the leaves, all those things. I mean, you can attain those benefits on a leash, and your dog will thank you for it. So that is pretty much everything for today. It's a very small tweak that you can make to your walks, right? Obviously the other thing is if you're constantly doing the same walk over and over every day, the enrichment benefits won't be so excellent. Just once in a while, change it up. Go somewhere new, maybe even walk in the other direction just so it's not predictable. All those things will help you attain these enrichment benefits. So thank you so much for listening today. We will be back next week with installment number 3 of Let's Go for a Walk. If you enjoyed what you saw today, please like the video and subscribe to our channel. It really helps. But yeah, thanks so much. See you guys soon.